What drew you to volunteering for hospice in the first place?
Almost 5 years ago, my wife and I, we relocated back from Europe, and we were looking to get involved in the community again. We had previously volunteered in the prison system at the Special Offenders Center in Monroe. We found that we'd build a lot of bridges with prisoners, and then they would be moved to another location. And then we were sitting in church one Sunday, and our pastor said that there was an email blast sent out from hospice that they really needed volunteers. So we thought, well, we can give it a try.
So you knew nothing about hospice or end of life at that point?
Yeah, my mom was on hospice in 1993. That was a very good experience for us, and they took very good care of her. I think it demystified a lot of what they do. It took away a lot of the confusion and the panic. They had the social worker, they had the nurse, and volunteers if requested. So, they could take care of a lot of those things that the caregivers or the family didn't even have to worry about.
That was in the early 90s, Is that right? So you had that experience in your background. So then when the idea of hospice came around, that was something that felt comfortable.
Yeah, it felt real good.
I'm sure a lot of people think hospice might be something they want to do, and what process that involved for you in becoming a volunteer?
First of all, we wanted to find out more about it. We went to orientation. That convinced us this is the direction we want to go. We want to invest in the 40-hour training. So the training was fantastic. Don't let the trainer know. But,
I'll take that personally. Yeah, thank you. I hear people say that, being a hospice volunteer is a really incredible experience for them.
Oftentimes people will say, I'm really glad you're doing what you're doing, and I don't know how you do it. And I tell them the dirty little secret is we get more out of it than the patients and the family. It's a great privilege to come into somebody's life at that point in their life where it's an end-of-life situation. The family's on edge. Dynamics are introduced that have never been experienced before with the family. And we're actually allowed to come into the house and go alongside them through that whole process.
What does that mean, go alongside them?
We're not doctors. We don't lead them or tell them what to do or guide them. We do get them the right support they need, but it's just to go alongside and listen.
You mentioned that some people ask you, well, how do you do that?
There is an impact, when you're shouldering the pain of somebody else with them. You don't even try to fix it. So that means you go alongside.
How many patients have you volunteered with?
Let me see. On the end of life side, I think around 60 some.
60 patients?
Yeah, and their families. And some family members turn away, and then others kind of turn toward the loved one. It's interesting watching the whole thing.
You've worked with so many people. I'm just wondering if you have any stories that are special to you that you want to share.
One of my favorites was a guy that I codenamed Smart Guy. He dropped out of Harvard and put himself through engineering school and went right into the Navy, and they had him running the new radar division. And he got to take the ride on the USS Quincy with President Franklin Roosevelt to the Yalta Conference. He went on to turn a lot of the Corsair World War II fighter planes into remote control airplanes. One of them went rogue, and they had to scramble jets to go shoot it down over Palmdale, California, and there were missiles going everywhere. None of them hit the plane. They were all raining down, and that was called the Battle of Palmdale.
Wow, I had no idea.
Yeah, and I got to take him and his caregiver to the Paul Allen Flight Museum in Payne Field here in Everett.
Oh, my.
Just before the final decline. So he was coherent, he was eager. We wheeled up, and it was one of his airplanes, his remote control Corsairs, and the way his face lit up was just phenomenal. Made the whole thing worth it.
Wow.
Yeah. So as a trainer, have you ever thought how many people, and it's going to be in the thousands, you have helped and that you will never meet?
So I never have actually tallied up how many people I've trained over the years. But one thing that really juices me up is that it's not only the people in my classrooms, it's the people that they touch in their life. And so it's the ripple effect.
We owe you a lot, and the agency, really. So
thank you.
Thank you.